Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? It's John Victoria from SEO Breakthrough, and we are going live for our first Why Isn't My Site Ranking? Ask Me Anything Live. And so I'm very excited for today. I think there's a lot of great topics that I have even before we get to the Ask Me Anything. And yeah, very excited to really be here and be live with everyone. So whether you are here for the replay, I want you to put hashtag replay in the chat if you're coming from a point in the future. You're not with me live, but if you are with me live, definitely put in the comments in the chat, where you're tuning in from in the world, whether that be Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, or DC, where I'm at. Just hit the comment section, pound in your city, just so we can see where everyone is coming in from. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen because I do have an agenda that we can walk through for today. Lots of great stuff to cover, but let me share my screen so we can look at the agenda together. But yeah, so if you are with us, if you do want to join the StreamYard, I'm going to put this in the chat, but there is a link that you can go to that if you want to hop on, be with me live, actually chat, have questions that you want to ask me directly, just join that link that I put into the chat. It's StreamYard. So StreamYard.com/a bunch of characters. So just join from there. And if you just want to join the actual live stream on YouTube, there's another link as well that I'm going to include that I'm going to put in the chat. But yeah, if you want to join, feel free to hit that. So yeah, just to kick off today, quick welcome. So, welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy to see everyone and to be with you today. But really the goal of this live Q&A is that I'm getting lots of questions, from different small business owners, entrepreneurs who are looking to grow their website traffic. And, I wanted to put something together that, would give everyone the chance to ask direct questions, troubleshoot, figure out what's going on. And really at the end of the day, make more money through your website, through your SEO. And so this is actually episode number 2 in our series. This is our first Ask Me Anything. And actually today we will have someone coming live. My boy Calvin's in the waiting room. We'll have him join in a moment. But yeah, this is episode 2, and we'll probably do more of these in the future if there is interest. And so again, the goal is we want to get you real-time help for your issues, clarity on ranking. There's actually a Google algorithm update happening. I think it's about to finish rolling out pretty soon. And so the goalposts of SEO and what worked today versus what worked a year ago or even a month ago is shifting. And so, we want to stay up to date. And this is one of the reasons why we have this series. And so going to be doing a lot more workshops and virtual events in the future. And so stay connected, got the channel, smash that subscribe, ring that bell on the channel, or you can also join our newsletter at seobreakthrough.net. And just enter in your email. Not going to be spamming you, just going to be letting you know some cool events and resources that come out. And so, yeah, going to be having that over there. So, but yeah, so with that, some quick shout outs. I also wanted to shout out, there were a bunch of folks that were on a webinar I did for Ace Next Gen, one of the orgs that, I did a presentation for about a week ago, and we had about 80, 86, 87 business owners there, which is a lot of fun. And so, if you have questions or URLs that you want me to review, you can pop in the chat, kind of like they did for that presentation last week. And again, if you do want to join, I did publish a link in the chat for people to join directly on StreamYard. But with that, yeah, let me bring on my boy Calvin so we can just chat real quick. Calvin, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Perfect. Dude,
Dude,
not
what's going on?
much. Not much. Been a busy morning. I had like a 8 a.m. like a networking marketing event. So woke up super early for that. Went there, came back, Went for a walk, ate lunch. Now I'm here.
Dude, all right, there we go.
Yeah, I'm on the West Coast, by the way, for the people who are like ate lunch. Yeah,
And then just to give everyone context, maybe a little bit about like what you do and background, just so everyone can get a little sense.
gotcha. So I'm Calvin. I'm from Las Vegas, and I'm in the web development and also SEO space, just like John is. My background's in software. I thought I was going to be a software engineer working at a big tech company, living in the Bay somewhere. But the last year of college, I discovered entrepreneurship before I knew what it was, and took a leap of faith on myself to chase that. And I'm like, hey, if there's no better time to do it than now. So here I am, about 3-4 years ish in, learning, learning a lot, and yeah, just taking a bit of myself and seeing where it goes.
Dude, that's awesome, man. There were a few people actually that are just starting their business that mentioned they'd want to hop on at some point. So I just wanted to maybe like double click on that decision to make the leap, because I think that's it's one of courage. I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, and so kind of like what was the calculation, like what was the calculus that you're going through? It's like, all right, I'm gonna go for it versus let me stay where I'm at. Like, can you talk us through that?
Yeah. There was no calculations, to be like, just to be blunt. I like looking back, I would have done it a little differently, but hey, hindsight's always 2020. I still would have started my own business. I just would have approached it differently. That's what I mean. Uh,
Mm.
but my decision to take the plunge was a mix of things, my personal life, and just like also the inkling in me, I guess, the hidden entrepreneurial spirit that I didn't know existed. And then when that time came where I was exposed to more entrepreneurial things, from like certain Facebook groups to certain people in my life or who are already doing it, meeting strangers online and just hearing their stories and be like, and having them share like, oh, this is my story and this is where I got, and this is how I started my own business. Uh, that, and then a mix of during COVID, my parents separated, so it's a mix of that too, and just like consuming content from like other entrepreneurs and just having that message of, hey, there's no, just like Gary Vaynerchuk says, when you're in your 20s, there's no better time to just try and fail. And so I was 22, 23 when I decided to take that plunge, and I was just like, no, if crap really hits the fan, I have a degree to fall back on. I'll move back to New York. Like there's something like I wouldn't, and like I trust myself that I wouldn't be on the streets. Like I'll go get a job at Chipotle or something. Um, so yeah, this is me still in my 20s and just going for it. And I'm like, if it works out, brilliant. Then that was the plan all along.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, reset, figure life out again, and then go again.
Dude, that's sick. Yeah. I think a commonality I noticed in you and a lot of people start their business, entrepreneurs, that a lot of us don't, I mean, we just got to hop into it. We know it's like, I mean, I was similar. I had no, backup plan. I was like, all right, F it. Let's just go for it. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah,
And you end up
exactly.
doing it. I think environment is a big shaper, as you
Oh yeah.
mentioned, like being in the right groups and making it normal to be walking the entrepreneurship journey and succeeding as well, just being around good people.
Oh, that helped a lot. Just going from, I remember when I first started my journey, it felt really weird saying, "Oh, I started a business. Oh, I building this agency, or I like it felt really weird to not say, "Oh, I'm a software engineer," because I was so
Mm.
tied to that identity. I spent 4 years getting that degree and just almost like gave up and failed out of that. So I like put a lot of energy into it, and then to realize, or not realize, but to then detach myself from that label, like that was a hard thing to do. So yeah, being around people who make it normal. So moving to Vegas was a blessing in disguise, and it just helped a lot. Helped a lot because then I was around other business owners who just kind of
Mm.
talk that way, and then it made it normal to be like, oh yeah, he owns a business, she owns a business, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you just started a new business here, blah blah. Like it's
oh,
just
did you?
yeah, very normal. So that being in the right circles helps tremendously.
Dude, that's awesome. Man, all right. Okay. I know prior to you had some questions, but feel free to ask any if you have any questions on SEO, about agency, literally anything. Open book. Waiting for some comments in the chat. But if there's anything that you wanted to tackle, let's hit it. Let's hit it for the day.
Yeah. So just go back to that question that I briefly mentioned when we were DMing. Is around like content strategy. I feel like it's such a open, like a forest, whereas
Mm.
I don't know if there is a certain way to do it, or everyone kind of figures out their own path. Um, But yeah, my thing, yeah, my questions are around content strategy, how you would approach a one with say like yeah, you got a new client came in and they have no content strategy, or maybe they fired their last SEO agency and they brought you on, and then
Mm.
you're like starting from scratch ish, or maybe you're not starting from scratch, you're kind of building off what the last agency has done.
Mm.
Like how do you approach that, and then figure out, okay, here's the content for the next 3 months, and this is the timeline, this is the schedule, let's go.
Amazing. And just for my clarity as well, like what do you currently do? Just so I can kind of see the yeah.
Yeah. So currently, well, when an SEO client comes to me, I my first intake is I gotta understand who their audience or their customer, their like ideal client profile is. So then that way I could take that information and understand what their search query journey looks like. And I always use the example of like looking for a new camera, because that's something I've done recently, and then I've noticed myself going through this very same journey of, okay, what do I know about cameras? Okay, what brand do I want to look for? Like I was looking for a Fujifilm. Okay, I go Fujifilm camera lineup, and then I'll look at all their lineup, and then I'll like in my head, I'm like, okay, there's these certain models I want, and I'll look for comparisons, and then I'll like watch review videos, and I'll like go
Mm.
down that journey. So I think about that as my clients' customers, and what that journey will look like, and it usually just falls into those 4 search intents, and then uh, I'll fall into those 4 search intents. And I'm also using ChatGPT to assist me with all this. Like I'm
Sure. Yeah.
talking to it like a human. I'm just like, this is the customer. This is what is like a journey that may look like for them. Here's the 4 search intents I want you to kind of base the content around, or the queries around. And then from that, I come up with a content calendar around those searches, and then depending on what the business's goals are, if they want more brand awareness, then I'll do like more informational, navigational intent keywords.
Mm.
If they're like, hey, we already have bunch of people landing on our site, but they're not getting onto the conversion pages. Maybe it's if they're e-commerce, they're not going to the product pages, or if they're service based, they're not going to our services pages or contacting us. Then I'm like, okay, I will shift it from less navigational or informational intent, and more like commercial transactional intent in the searches and the queries that I go for. And then after all that, then come up with just a like a draft of what the content could be. And this is all blog articles, by the way. And then from there, as I'm writing or going into the blog writing process, then that's where like the keyword research and the data, or like like using software to look for those keywords in that topic that I've already came up with would come into play. And then it will go into the whole blog writing process.
Perfect.
So that is what I have.
Cool. Yeah. And I guess a good place to start. I always like just beginning with frameworks. I think frameworks, there's like you can do a direct answer, but then if you have a good framework, then you'll be able to answer almost any questions, or even if you don't know how to operate within a field, like you'll be able to navigate towards a solution. So I think first framework that we could potentially apply here is generally, like in a business, there's three components. There's traffic, there's conversion, then there's a product or a service, right? Those are like the three pieces. And so, since you run an agency, a lot of what we do, we're not necessarily focused as much on the product and service, but we're more so, trying to get people to raise their hands, either traffic or converting more of that traffic into people that say, hey, yes, I'll pay a certain amount of money, either for a product or a service or a combination of both. And so, because with that kind of as the framework, we got blogging, and it's like, okay, like what, we're doing blogging for a reason. Like it's to break some bottleneck in the process. Like, is it?
I see.
Because you can blog, but we can get a bunch of traffic, but none of it converts. Or you can write articles that are meant for conversion, but maybe that doesn't generate a lot of traffic, because a lot of people don't ask those types of questions. To give you an example, there's a book called They Ask You Answer, and it's a great book. And basically the blogging strategy is you listen to what your customers are saying, like people who are paying you money or about to pay you money, and then you create questions based off of the exact question that person asked. Or go to like a Facebook group, you see what people say, what are they saying about this particular topic, and then answering those questions. Some of these questions are going to be highly specific, and they might not be, they might not generate the most broad amount of search traffic, but these are real questions people are asking with the buying process. And so that might end up converting, or it could be used in the conversion process. Like, let's say a salesperson, like, oh, you had a question on that. Oh, actually, I have this specific piece of article that you could possibly use. So to take a step back, we got this framework, traffic, conversion, fulfillment. What's the biggest bottleneck, and how is blogging going to solve it? And so, is it more of a traffic play? Is it more of a conversion play? That kind of begins to hone in on, okay, like what are we going to do for blogging? And then second thing, as an agency owner, there's two things. There's perceived value and there's actual value.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, to keep the relationship, right? There's actual value of things that we know as agency owners are important to do. But if you showed it to a client, they'd be like, oh, I don't know. What is this? Like, I don't know what this is supposed to mean. But then there's like perceived value, which is more things that they find valuable, but it might not necessarily move towards, let's say, an SEO, a goal of, increasing their rankings to number one. And so sometimes they overlap, sometimes they're separate. And so that's another thing for your case specifically, since as an agency owner, like you're also managing the client relationship.
Yeah.
And so at least for us, we did notice that with blogging, like having a certain amount of blogs every month does help with retention of a client. And it can be a perceived value thing. But then overlaying kind of what you did, I actually really like your process of using ChatGPT, walking through the buying cycle, and maybe you can incorporate topics from the client where they have specific objections that they handle with sales, and maybe you can incorporate that as part of the strategy. And so on a high level, those are like two frameworks that I like to use. It's traffic, conversion, fulfillment, and then perceived value versus actual value, specifically when it comes to agency stuff. But in terms of how we get our topics, it's nothing too crazy. I'm going to pull up my screen and we'll do some research together.
Gotcha.
So, and actually, while I'm doing that, any quick questions on those two shares, or are you set?
Is that you're asking me or?
Yeah. If you had any, on the frameworks or any of the things that we just mentioned. If not, all good. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
All right, so let's do an example. So what would be an example topic or website that we could potentially do?
We could run with the camera example.
Okay.
Okay.
So camera.
Or let's say like it's a photographer, a freelance photographer.
Okay.
Who needs more clientele.
Oh, okay. So photographer who needs more clientele. And then
wedding photographer in Las Vegas. Let's see.
All right, so I got wedding photographer in Las Vegas. So got keywords everywhere installed. We got a search volume of 1,900 searches a month, so pretty significant. Calvin, if you know of anyone or if you do that, man, there's a lot of search volume here. There's some money here.
That's how I switch careers now.
There's a good amount. All right, then let's see. We got some paid ad listings at the top. We got the Google Maps section right here. We got the people also ask, and then we have a bunch of folks here. Nice. And so part of what we normally do to start is first I will just plug in who are the actual businesses that are ranking into something like Ahrefs to see like what pages that they have. If they have a blog, then that'll make it easy to see what types of blog content is getting traffic. If they don't, some of these terms for wedding photography can be, it doesn't matter the location. So if it's not in Las Vegas, we can probably check New York, we can probably check Los Angeles, and then pull sites from there. So that's how, like, on a high level, what we'll do. So in this case, with Google My Business, right? Sometimes you don't need a website, so we'll look at the organic listings. And then if we're looking for blogs, we got the first one. This is an Instagram, so can't really do anything from that. We got the Knot. So the Knot actually might have some blogs, which we could look at, but they are a broader brand versus just being Las Vegas. So I'll probably look at Ivan Diana as the first one to see like what this person has for their stuff. So let's plug them in, and I'll just go to top pages, and then we'll kind of see like what they're doing.
I only see your Google.
Let me stop my share and let me share my entire screen. Okay. So all I did was I grabbed Ivan Diana, I pulled up Ahrefs, I plugged them into here, the high level overview. Okay, they rank for 850-ish keywords. They have some backlinks. For some reason, their website traffic is decreasing over time, so that could be something we look into later. But specifically for blogs, actually, there's two places I'll look. Number one, I'll look at top organic competitors. So I will, you can just kind of use this graph and then see, who's like the biggest person, and then you can plug in that website. And then number two, you can just go to top pages. And then if they have a blog, there'll usually be some structure. Sometimes they'll have a /blog/ the name of the blog, like the blog title. In this case, it looks like, maybe not as much, but we can kind of see like what are they doing for their potential strategy. So, so for some blogs, So they are very Vegas specific. So one blog they have is what documents do I need? And this is sorted by estimated traffic. I don't trust Ahrefs for their estimated traffic. It's usually wildly off. so I
Yeah.
wouldn't actually trust the traffic, but I mean, it's the best that we got.
Yeah,
So
I've seen a video where it was like comparing SEMrush, Ahrefs, and Ubersuggest, and it was like all different data.
yeah. And I compare because we have access to client data. So we look, all right, how much is Ahrefs saying that they should be getting? How much are they actually getting? And
Gotcha.
it could be upwards like 50%, 60% difference. Sometimes it's not even down or up. Like it's like it's a crapshoot. So okay, so in this case, so let's look at their blog. So Ivan Diana Photography. They have one on what documents do I need to get married in Las Vegas? A very Vegas specific article. Get married in Vegas. It gets 900 searches a month. So, okay, potentially we might add that as one of our topics. Little White Wedding Chapel, Las Vegas. Okay, pretty good. So it's very specific for someone who would want to get married there. Elopement photo shoot ideas. Okay. They have an FAQ. Does the Little White Wedding Chapel provide live streaming? All right. So yeah, very specific to Vegas, right? At these, these very nice locations. Got the Wynn, got the Venetian, the Little White Wedding, Las Vegas Strip Wedding. So yeah, this is very specific to Vegas, right? So,
Yep.
but if I were them, right, if you didn't have these blogs already, possibly you would want to try to recreate a bunch of these articles. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay, so there's some how-tos, how to plan the perfect wedding at a Vegas golf course, Flamingo, the Grove. Yeah, so pretty solid. So that's a lot of these would be people who are pretty close to needing a photographer, right? If they're searching for these topics, and they could possibly convert them after. But cool. So that's one source. The second source we could look at is outside of this city. So we got gracelindchapel.com. So I'll just plug them in. Okay, so they have 2,000 keywords, a bit bigger. Same thing. We just take a look at their top pages and we see what we got here. I guess these are also in Vegas. Traditional renewal packages, gift shop. At least for them, it doesn't look like they have a lot of blogs. So yeah, this looks like more about their own personal packages. So I guess we could. I guess why are they getting so much traffic? Interesting. Oh, because they rank for Graceland Wedding Chapel, number 2. Okay, Graceland. Okay, I see the chapel. I see. All right. Well, then the next place we would look is, like I mentioned, we'd probably switch cities. So, wedding photographer in. Let's go back to your home base. I'm going to New York. We got sponsored at the top, got Google My Business, and then Georgia Sheridan. 4,400 searches a month. Man, God, we should be in photography. We should That's a lot of money.
I gotta pick up my camera again, bro. Blow the dust off of it.
That's significant money right there. Oh man, so we got Georgia.
There are also some questions in the chat just in case. I don't know when you want to get into them.
Oh, okay, perfect. Got Flowers Forever. Hey, good seeing you again from the Ace Next Gen. When you create a page and want to take advantage, do you need to do dashes or underscores? And I guess just quick clarifying question on that. Is this for the URL or is this for the title? Just wanted to. Oh, the 70 characters, probably the title.
Like the meta title.
Yeah, probably the meta title. Yeah, so in that case, you probably would want to use dashes or the pipe symbol. How do you break up the different phrases? Photo shoot, then comma or space in between for photography shoot. It all depends on what people are typing in. So if there is spaces, let's give a quick example for the keywords. So if there were dashes here, we'd probably want to add dashes just to match it more closely. But in this case, it's just spaces. So maybe like NYC wedding photographer, for example. And then you have another variation. So a title could be NYC wedding photographer. And you might have something like wedding photographer in New York City. So just like two variations, right? New York City spelled out, New York, and the acronym, and then you have a pipe symbol separating it.
Are you typing somewhere or?
Oh yeah, at the you see the you can't see my you can't see my
it gets cut. It gets cut off.
Okay, let me grab this. Okay, like this. NYC wedding photographer in New York City. All right, just like that. That sort of title would probably do a lot better than what Samantha June has. There's a brand name. We could probably use that for more keywords potentially. But cool. So we'll jump back. So we're going now Georgia, Sheridan Photography. Me and Calvin, we're going to take over the photography market in New York. We are creating some blogs.
There we go.
Let's see what we got.
Bring it back to the East Coast.
Bringing it back. West to East, coming back. So in this case, let's see. Okay, that's interesting. So similar as in Vegas, they have pages built out for specific venues. They have the French farmhouse venue, Dallas courthouse wedding, Los Angeles courthouse wedding. Okay, I guess they might serve other locations. Top bridal shops in New York City where to shop for wedding dresses. So, okay, great. So yeah, kind of what I'd be doing is I'd probably have a spreadsheet, and as I'm going through competitors, I'd build out a big list of blog topics. Usually I try to build out a list of about 100 or 150. And then usually for our clients, we'll do maybe 10 to 20 blog posts a month, for example. And then usually we'll just cross-reference with them. Hey, do you like these blog topics? Which ones are we missing? Do you actually do these types of services? And then from there, that's, once you have the actual topic, it's a lot easier to write it. And I think you're already doing a great thing where you're already asking the client the questions about their business. Maybe you're talking through the sales process. And so you can then take that guidance to then apply that to the actual blogs. But yeah, this looks great. I think we should, let's start off. We got to start a photography business, I guess.
Go back to my old roots. I'm with it.
Cool. So that's generally what we do. Is there any questions specific on that, or do you want to zoom in on a specific element, or?
Yeah, that was really comprehensive. Do you look at search intent as well, or take that into consideration?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like if there's specific blogs that are, for example, if someone's looking for a wedding venue, like they're probably further along in terms of, probably if they're looking for a venue, one of the next things they'll probably pay for is going to be the photographer.
Yeah.
So in a vacuum, yeah, like you could look at the traffic, or you could scan it through and say, what are the blog topics that might lead to, that's closer to a conversion. And then once you have picked those topics, then it would be thinking about the specific page. Like, what are we doing? Let's say someone lands on this page. How are you going to convert them? What sort of calls to action are in this specific page? But to get things started, if you have a brand new blog and there's no traffic to it, it could make sense just to publish it first so that Google can begin to index it, and then, improve the conversion later on once you start getting the traffic. So.
Got it.
Yeah.
Damn, I just Just had a question and then it left my mind. When you're going through like just like what you're doing right now, and then jotting down keywords on a spreadsheet, are you mostly thinking about what others are writing and how to make it better, or are you take like doing that plus what is more specific to like the client's business, like, and then adding that plus the
Mm,
competitors, like what the competitors are writing about? Because I'm sure it's not just like look through the competitors, see what's working. I mean, yes, like see what's working, make it better, but then at some point it will just be almost like a copy and paste.
yeah, yeah.
Like, is there like is that just the strategy, or is it that plus um other things that's more specific to the business that you're helping?
Yeah, I think it all depends on what a specific client is looking for, and bring it back to like the perceived versus the actual value. Um, there, so I guess in the case, let's say that we had a client, let's say Georgia Sheridan photography.com, and we're creating blogs for them. Um, the real thing that we're trying to go for is NYC wedding photographer, right?
Yeah.
That's the keyword that'll actually make them the money. And so we're trying to allocate all of our resources to get that done. So link building, well, building out the specific landing page for that, optimizing the pages, um, and then blogs. Just from what we do, like we aren't I think we could probably do even better with the blogs and the conversion strategy and make them even better. But for us, we kind of keep the North Star, like the exact, what is the actual keyword that's going to convert into money? And then that's where we harness most of our resources. Because if, for example, like look at the blogs, one sec. And again, I know this is just estimates, but so for example, let's look at the Villa Antonia Austin venue. This is off, but let's say it truly was 37 traffic.
Mhm.
And if we spent all of our time on getting that blog looking really good, it could be good, but also like the homepage, which gets the most amount of traffic, we could have focused on trying to get this to rank for NYC wedding photographer instead. And so for us, it's like an alternative use decision. Like if they're already ranking number one for their target keyword, all right, let's allocate the resources elsewhere. But if the most important keyword is not number one yet, then that's where we're going to put the focus. And then we'll do some stuff with the blogs, but it's more of like a secondary strategy versus like
Mhm.
a primary focus. Um, but as an agency owner, right, there's lots that can be done, and maybe there's some things with links where if the client saw it, they'd be like, like what's this? Like I don't even know what's going on here.
Yep. Yeah.
And so then the blogs kind of helps with more of the perceived value side of things. And so in your specific application, like it's more of a perceived versus actual value problem, and what's going to be the biggest impact. And so for us, we would just want to focus on the top keyword.
Gotcha.
And then Flowers Forever said, think you may have talked about the chat, but I had to take it off. I'll definitely listen again to the next live session. Cool. Thank you, son. Appreciate it. Awesome. And I actually didn't know about this feature until now.
Cool. Nice.
Awesome. Cool. Anything else?
Next question about, I guess, the next step, or the next step would be like you're getting traffic, it's coming in, you've the line is slowly rising, but now the next problem is conversions.
Mm.
How would you handle a website getting a lot of traffic, but the conversion is kind of just plateauing, and like it's not really, the traffic
Mm.
is coming, not really doing much? How do you walk through something like that, or diagnose something like that?
Yeah, we gotta be like a little like Sherlock Holmes. This is a mystery, right? We're Scooby Doo. Like, what's going on here? Some more traffic's
Yeah,
increasing, conversion's not. Um,
yeah, because usually if traffic could increase, but conversions would always just kind of plateau. I don't ever see it, or I can't think of a situation where traffic increases and then conversion decreases. Um, yeah, so yeah, like how would you? Because I feel like unless I'm thinking about it wrong, but I feel like those are two adjacent problems, but fixing one, fixing the traffic, not necessarily fixes the other.
yeah, yeah. Because right, if you think from ads, right, you can get a whole bunch of impressions and clicks, but it doesn't. You can spend $1,000 on getting
Yeah,
clicks from Bangladesh. Your traffic has increased dramatically. You got lots of
yeah, all these
people from Bangladesh liking and commenting and DMing you,
these
but
farming these farm bots.
they ain't doing anything for your business. It's because it's the wrong people.
Yep, yep.
um, so I think that's the first place I would start. Let's say I would go to a site and
Yeah.
maybe this is not the best example, but I would go to their pages, and then if there's a specific page that they're optimizing for, I would take a look at what keywords they might be ranking for, and if they are considered money keywords and things that will actually convert into business.
Hmm.
If I start spotting things like, I don't know, spammy related things, buy Jordans or buy, it's like non-related to their actual business. All right, maybe there's some issues with the traffic that they're getting. They're ranking, but they're not getting the actual right keywords.
Yeah.
So source of traffic is, yeah, definitely one thing I'd begin with.
Gotcha. Do you go to the extent of like installing software like Hotjar and
Yeah.
tracking, like literally watching those sessions and seeing like what people are clicking on or how they're viewing or how they're using the website?
Yeah, I use Hotjar. I've used I think Microsoft Clarity, I think, is another one that you can use to do heat maps and
Mhm.
get some feedback from folks. There's also a site, I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but you could, if you had questions on a specific page, you could survey a certain number of people, like 50 people, 100 people, ask them questions about a page. Would you buy from them or not? And so that's another way to get some qualitative feedback. Um, the thing, though, about qualitative feedback and also just asking your friends, like, would this convert? Would you buy or not? Is that sometimes conversion can be counterintuitive. I'll give you a quick example. There was a website that we were helping with, and the client said, "Hey, we want a modern-looking website," and we're like, "Okay, we'll build you a modern-looking website." Their old website was a lot simpler, and it was something that the owner actually built. It wasn't ugly, but it was. I mean, it was simple. It wasn't like, didn't have all these bells and whistles.
Yeah.
We launched the new website, with all, it looks nice. The owner likes it. All of the students like it because it was kind of like a training studio. But then when the new website is launched, the rankings don't change, but then the conversion is no longer the same. And,
Mm.
but you'd look at it and you'd be like, wow, this looks like a great looking website. And the language was also the same. We just kind of like imported the language and then we changed a few things. But it was counterintuitive where maybe it was in the arts, and so potentially one of the reasons why the simpler website might have worked was that it was less intimidating for someone to come in versus like this new website which was more modern, and it seems like this multi-million-dollar studio, and potentially that might have hurt the conversions even though it was a brand new website. And so I would say that conversion is not always intuitive, like what you think. Even if you ask your friends, like, "Oh yeah, that looks great. I love that." It can be counterintuitive, and so one thing, just something to be wary of as well, that it's not always as clear what to do. With
Gotcha.
that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like it's not it's not like ads where you can just look at it at these numbers and be like, hey, these numbers are not like it's not going from this step to this step, but we could tweak something here that could affect something there. It sounds like conversion is more holistic, if that's the right word.
Yeah, potentially. It's sometimes it's our gut feeling can be wrong.
Yeah.
It's it's what we it's do you know about like cognitive heuristics and in Daniel Kahneman and the books that he created on basically it's like our mind has these heuristics where they're basically shortcuts to thinking like this is the solution. And that can happen like with something like, oh yeah, look at that should convert better.
Yeah.
But then counterintuitively, the reality is a lot
biases.
Our bias, exactly.
Yeah, our biases. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I don't remember all the heuristics, but I don't know. I only know like only one I really remember is like the availability heuristic. So we think something. I think that is where we believe something to be true just because we've recently seen examples of it, even though statistically, like plane crashes. I'm sure that has been happening.
Yeah.
Since planes were invented, but because they've been reported on more often, now we have the bias of, oh no, they're dangerous.
Yeah. The recency, availability, recency bias, and then there's plenty of other ones. Authority bias, like if someone's wearing a doctor's coat, you'll just automatically trust that person more. Social proof bias, if someone that you know or respect is advise like, hey, do this, then you're just more likely. Halo effect bias, if someone's attractive or someone is competent or has done something well, you automatically assume they're more trustworthy, they have higher integrity, and they're better at this and that. All the biases. So yeah, it happens with conversion as well. It's counterintuitive, and so, some things you can do is you can kind of build that into when you're planning for conversion and things like, you might end up being wrong about certain things. There's, we use WordPress, I think Webflow as well. I think you can possibly do A/B testing on specific pages if you want to try to test different pages, see what works even better.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably one thing I would zoom into when it comes to if there's an issue with conversion. First, source of traffic, maybe there's something design wise, or maybe it's copy wise. We have some qualitative and quantitative ways to check. But it can be frustrating, I say. It's supposed to work, but it's like, what's not working?
Yeah, because it's one of those things where there's no pinpoint. It's like, oh, that's the bottleneck. Okay, there we go. Boom, fix that. We're good to go. That's where like the engineering side of me comes, like that brain kicks in, because it's like when I'm coding, if it breaks, there is a single point that you could always trace it back to, be like, okay, this, I'm missing a semicolon. Boom, fixed it. Okay, we're good to go. But conversion is like, there's so many factors.
So many factors. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would also argue that tools like Hotjar is a great place to start, because then at least you have, like you're watching someone actually use your website, so you know exactly how they're interacting with it. So it's not like I'm guessing this header doesn't work. It's they just totally scrolled past that section. Okay, maybe they didn't catch their eye.
Yeah. I think that type of feedback is valuable, because you want feedback from buyers. You don't want feedback from non-buyers. So, if you just ask your friends, let's say that I was selling a product for new parents, and then I asked my friends who were not parents to give feedback on it. Well, I mean, they're oh, you need to fix that and that, but they aren't parents. They're not categorically buyers. And so their feedback is probably not going to be super helpful.
Yeah, they'll probably give you very shallow feedback.
Yeah.
That it's like more, like, oh, this color may not attract your audience. But
Yeah,
then the parents like, I don't care what color it is as long as
exactly.
it works.
Oh, another example that came to mind is like when it comes to dating. Let's say
Mm,
that you like, oh, like I'm on a dating app, and then you ask your friends. Let's say it's a woman. If you're like, hey, like, what's wrong with my profile? But that's not someone that you'd be interested in dating. But you ask that person, and they're
mm.
like, oh, you need to change this and that, and then they give feedback based off of their preferences.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's not the person you want to date. And
Yeah,
so
that's a great point.
so you're asking the wrong people. And so
Yeah.
so when you're getting feedback, make sure you're talking to buyers, people that
Mhm.
so whether it's in dating or in business, like yeah, that's
That
something.
makes sense. Have you used I don't know if that Microsoft tool you mentioned, like do they have where you can just inject forms into it and be like, hey, here's a quick feedback form. Like how did you find this page? Was it helpful? Was it not? Do you
Mm,
use that?
I'm trying to remember. I know I think Hotjar does that,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
With the form, like it pops up a question to ask
Yeah.
people things. I would have to double check with Clarity. I think that was one of our other team members who was running the Clarity stuff, but
Got it.
I'm pretty sure Hotjar does it.
Yeah, Hotjar does. That's the only like reference I have in my head. Like it sounds very useful. I haven't implemented it, but it does sound useful. But I just don't know like how you it depend. I feel like at a certain scale of your business, then like those tools start making sense because there's enough traffic and people are actually invested and will like want to improve, help you improve. So then they'll go
Mm,
answer those questions. I think it's the same. It's the same mentality of when you land on an e-commerce site and there's a pop-up it's like, hey, save 10% off your next visit, or if you sign up.
mm,
But then if you're not invested in the brand, you're like, no, I don't really care. I just came to just browse real quick. So
yeah,
then
yeah,
you'll never answer that stuff, and like the close rates of that goes up the roof.
yeah.
Um, so that's also how I think about those forms. Like there are like I love to hear your input because you're definitely working at a much larger scale than I am. So your perspective is different. So that's how I think of those tools where it starts working really well past like when your business is at a certain size.
Hmm. I could see that, and no,
Or am I thinking about that wrong?
no, and I guess it all depends on the offer too. So it's like
Mm,
if the offer to a client was okay, we're just gonna get you ranked. All right, that's the offer, and maybe it might come to a point where the traffic is not converting, and just say, is that going to be part of what we want to do to keep said client?
mm,
At a certain scale, maybe someone's like, I just want to be productized, and then I don't want to solve problems outside of this, and I'm okay with losing because I'm at a particular size. Or do you want to be more boutique? And okay, now we can not only do that, but we'll do this, do the other thing, and potentially you just it's more specialized in a way. Um, I will say for at least for us, like I think at least the personalities of people in the company, like we like to create specialization based off of what someone actually wants. And there's pros and cons to that, and then productization. Like if you productize
mhm.
it, you could probably scale a lot faster, and it's probably a lot easier to do training and whatnot. But at least in our particular case, I like the specialization, and so sometimes we do that, sometimes we do this. It's really customized based off the client, at least for us. Yeah.
Gotcha. So like there isn't a like there's I'm sure there's like a foundation of tools, or yeah, a baseline of tools that you already use, but then for if you get more specific, there's probably some tools you use for client A that you wouldn't for client B because they both wanted different things.
Yeah,
I see.
exactly.
Gotcha.
So it's interesting. It's fun. Keeps me on my feet. You know.
Yeah, no, it lets you be a lot more creative is then you're tasked to solve a different problem.
Yeah.
Even though it's like within the SEO umbrella, um, it's like one client just wants more traffic, but then the other client's like, I got traffic, but it's just not converting. Or one client is like, I just want to stay relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll quickly share. We have different types of projects we have. So some we have like normal SEO, like rank on Google Maps, rank on Google Organic. We have some projects where it's more reputation management SEO. They have a negative article about them that they don't want people to find. And so it's us the reverse. You rank 10 things on top so that you can push the thing down.
Yeah.
And then we have some where it's more just consultation. We work with a sizable law firm, and we actually can't really do anything because there's like so many layers of approval, and so they just want our advice and how to help train their teams. And so we don't implement anything. Like we just kind of advise,
like coaching, and I see.
It's basically coaching. Yeah, they just ask us questions, and they're like, "All right, this is what you should do."
Do they just pass it on to their team? Like they have a team that will just
their own team, and then they provide guidance. And
nice.
So it's like, and for me, I find that engaging and entertaining.
Yeah, I remember seeing going back to that second point you brought up about trying to rank down a negative article. I don't know how true it is, but I remember seeing something about Taylor Swift. Reading something about Taylor Swift and saying like there were negative articles saying like her name associated, like SEO wise, it was like her name associated with jets and like how it's bad for the environment because she was just flying private like a lot. And then she goes to a New York Jets game and it gets a lot of attention there and social media posts, blog posts, whatever, articles. And then now when you search Taylor Swift jet, it isn't the negative article about her polluting the environment. It's her at the friggin' football game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they hired some SEO PR firm to do that.
I was like, yeah, that's so big brain.
That's so big brain, yeah. Oh my gosh. And yeah, I mean, I will say that especially like, athletes or celebrities or businessmen, businesswomen, there is a lot of money that these, people will spend to make sure that the right sorts of things are found or not found when someone Googles their name. Yep. And so it's crazy to me. I would never spend that amount. I'm just thinking back to I would never spend that amount of money, but for them, they're like, yeah, I'll pay it every single. And it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years.
Yeah, so. Taylor's brand and marketing team they are indeed crazy.
Yeah, pop that up for everyone to see. Yeah. My boy Robbie Young. Robbie, we're going through photography, and potentially we could even apply it to some videography examples. But we're saying we should all start a wedding, a wedding photography company. There's tens of thousands of searches that we could go.
And hopefully, more people getting married moving forward. But we'll see.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, with that amount of searches, probably will. Maybe if you like search more in the more, maybe in the maybe Midwest, maybe there's more searches in the Midwest, just like culture wise.
Yeah,
possibly. Quick. I don't know if you're cutting it off.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Question, because I totally forgot. But when you brought up Google Maps, I was like, oh shit, Google Maps. Totally forgot about like talking about local SEO. Mm-hmm. Is there a difference in your strategy handling like what we just talked about versus when you're looking at local SEO and like doing the Google My Business profile?
Yeah, Google My Business. There's a few interesting things with that. I'd say the number one factor is actually having the keyword in the name of the listing. We've done it where we added the keyword in the listing, and then it shot to number one like the first day. Nice. We didn't do anything else. the business did it. It was a franchise location, and we were like, hey, we make sure to include the keyword. They did it, and then boom, outranked all the competitors right there and then. So
Just
that also
that.
ties organic as well. Like having a key. Some people say it doesn't. No, it definitely does. Like having a keyword in your URL, it helps. So that would be one thing.
Gotcha.
Category selection, just Google your most important keyword and identify and what are the other top 3 people doing for their category. Pick that one. Then everything else is kind of like standard, right? Description and then stuff like that.
Yeah. What about like updating, like adding updates or
you do posts? You can
update, posts. I'm sure photos play a lot because I also think about it from my own use of it. Like when I'm looking for businesses, photos are the first thing I look at, whether it's a hair salon or a restaurant or an auto shop. I'm looking at the photos. It can have like auto shop that has nothing to do with how well the photos are, but better photos just make me trust the business more.
Yeah. And this brings up our traffic conversion problem too. Like we can actually, I saw a Google My Business listing rank with 1 star and 1 review, number 2, because they had the keyword in their thing. But will it convert? I don't know. Like, I mean, how many people are going to want to call up a 1-star business? So traffic and conversion, like there's a bunch of stuff you can do for SEO that has nothing to do with conversion, and then vice versa. You can have a bunch of conversion not actually rank.
Yeah, that's true. Is that also depends on what if I'm traveling in a small town and I'm looking up something local. There's 3 businesses that pop up. They all got like 3 stars and less.
Yeah.
At that point, like it's just relative.
Yeah, it's just relative, man. Okay.
I'm like 1 star ain't that bad anymore.
1 star ain't that bad. 3 stars. That's 2 stars above Yeah, then I think that the other big thing we do is we do Google Map embeds on basically high trusted sites, and so I'll show you quick, how to find that really quickly. Let me pull that up.
Gotcha.
Share screen. So if you go here and you go to, let's say, Emma's, and you click share, let me see if I can do it. Oh no, I have to do this. Let me do Emma, Cleary Hook photo and video. This is her. Actually, what's going on here? 1 second. What's going on? All right. Because normally what it'll do is it'll show the embed code. And so basically it's like you could embed the map onto your website. But let me see what's going on.
Like it would just like is it in a iframe? Like it's still an interactive map on your site.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I guess for some reason.
Yeah, maybe they changed
one
it up.
time.
Okay.
I was literally looking at it earlier today. Of course, the one time I mentioned it on a live stream, that's when it disappears. Oh, that's funny.
Oh man, Google with their updates. I guess they
must have heard me.
Updated at like while this stream was happening.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, whatever.
I think I'll get what you mean. So yeah. Well, what's the purpose of embedding a map?
Yeah, so embedding the map. So Google will see that as a link to the Google business profile, and then they'll pass the trust and the authority of the website to that specific listing. And so you can do it on your website, but also if you can do it on other people's websites that are relevant to the niche, that's going to help to pass power. So I don't know, let's say we had this HVAC example and there was a website around HVAC and you got a embedded map on that website and it linked to your listing, that's going to help your rankings. So aside from that, there's other stuff which we don't do. You can, there's ways to, click through, I think called click through rate, like CTR. So
Mhm.
people can send like fake traffic. We don't do that, but people send fake traffic, and that can work. What used to work in the past was, and we don't do this either, but like getting reviews that are not real reviews with keywords in them, like that could help. But
Yeah.
Google's been wiping those out. So there's a tactic. I did do one test with that actually. I started a new listing and sent 30 reviews with keywords in them to the
Yeah.
listing, and it ranked. It ranked. That's the only. I didn't do anything else except send fake reviews with keywords, and it ranked. So it does, at least at the time it
Mm.
worked, but I don't know if it works anymore. This was maybe like 2 years ago when I did the test.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, never know. I'll let my clients be like, "Hey, let your customers write a review and make sure they include these words in them."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would do that. I would do that actually.
Like
I
just
actually tell our clients, if you're gonna ask for reviews, ask them to mention this keyword, and that I think that does help because they're
yeah,
legit.
yeah. I mean, like just in the off chance it does, and if it doesn't, then it like still helps
Yeah,
to makes the review look nice.
exactly.
So going back to the map, you said the embedded map in the website helps because on Google's end, they're connecting that Google Map link to
Yeah,
the website, and then
yeah,
they're associating those two together. Like they're saying, okay, since this map is in this website, that means this website, this business is on this map and
yeah, yeah.
with this listing.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it could be the same. It could be just a normal backlink to your organic website, just calvintoe.com. And it's all right, it's linking there. All right, passing the trust from Calvin to this other site. And in this case, it's just the map listing instead.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then, there's some other stuff that we haven't tested recently, which is people used to create what do they call them? Point of interest pages.
Mhm.
So let's say you want to rank in Vegas, and then you create a location page on the Win, you create a page on Venetian, just create 10 pages, and then you all link it to the page you're trying to rank, and you just have that page, these location pages with 1,000 words on them linking to that one page. And then
Yeah.
in the past, that has helped. Haven't tested it recently, so I can't say for sure.
Mhm.
But what we do is primarily it's just backlinks. Backlinks is what drives the movement for us. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then the point of interest, but those other links, are they on your site or are they another site?
In that specific strategy, it's on your website.
Okay.
So it's your own content on your own website.
That's all pointing to one page, and whether it's an article or a service page or
Exactly.
a product page.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, I wouldn't say it would hurt, right?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound like, it doesn't sound like it's like a black hat thing.
No, it's not. Yeah. I mean, and also too, like if it's relevant for the location that you're in, and it probably would help someone who's searching for that. So I think I think it's a pretty, white hat thing to do. And for me, black hat, the only thing that's black hat to me is when people are legit hacking people's websites. So, that's yeah.
Really? Isn't you don't consider black hat sending fake traffic?
Because for me, black hat is when you're violating someone's property. Like if you send fake traffic to your own site, like is that considered black? I think it's in the gray. But potentially it's black hat if you start sending fake traffic to maybe like tank someone's site. Maybe I would consider that black hat. Well, actually, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Now we should have a talk on SEO and ethics. Like that might be a good.
Because I would think it's. Oh no! Damn! Now you're making me question it. Okay, maybe it is gray. It's a gray hat where if you see your competitors rank ranking above you, you just backlink them to a bunch of BS sites.
Yeah. There's certain things you do with backlinks that can potentially penalize the site forever. Like you just do one of these types of one action of this and potentially could penalize the site forever.
Yeah,
So that okay, that might be that's I think
yeah,
you're violating someone's property in that
yeah. At
case.
that point, that's almost like defamation.
Yeah. You're like,
Like,
why am my stuff not ranking?
yeah, like
Oh,
why is my link pointing to these rated R sites over here?
Google's gotten better though at like filtering some of that stuff out, but if you're subtle about it, this is why I'm glad I'm not an evil person. Because if I was an evil person, I was like, I know so much stuff. I would never do it, but like, I know so much of
that's
how
that's why we got we going through these challenges of life because we have morals and ethics.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, or else we'd scam our way to the top already.
Yeah. Nah. The
Yeah.
good life, living the good life.
You gotta be able to sleep at night, you know. Backlinks though, like, do you think backlinks are? I know they're helpful, but do you think they make or break a SEO strategy?
Um,
Or like, how much is it weighted compared to blog writing or meta tags or technical SEO stuff?
I think with more AI content out there, I think Google's going to prioritize backlinks even more because they're kind of just harder to get. Because if let's say everyone now has access to ChatGPT, Claude, or another AI tool, and they can create content at will. Well, now you just have a glut of content, and so now how's Google going to figure out who to trust? Backlinks might be part of it because it'd be tough to get a backlink from, let's say, USA Today or CNN or Fox or another website that's not them that's trusted. So I think you can rank without it, but with this glut of AI content, I think it's going to become more and more important. Um, and there are many cases where backlinks is the primary thing that we do, and maybe the only thing, and then we're able to rank with just backlinks.
I see.
So, but if in a vacuum, right, if you could if you can add good content and have the good metas, then yeah, of course, I would definitely do that. But yeah, I'd say it's way more and more important over time.
Gotcha. Do you when you look at backlinks, do you think it applies to websites at any level? Like if it's just a brand new site versus a Fortune 500 company site, or it only applies after a certain quote unquote size of the website?
Well, I think any brand new site or an old site, having a trusted backlink, I could imagine would be helpful. Because right, it's just a vote of confidence that, hey, this site is great. At a site that's like a Fortune 500, they're already getting backlinks naturally.
True. Like people are asking them for backlinks at that point.
Yeah, people are asking them for them. I mean, yeah, they could have a backlink strategy and that could help, but at that size,
they're probably just maintaining and doing their best to not get deranked by the competitors.
Yeah,
at that point,
they're so big too. Like they do anything, the news organization. Oh, let's write about. They did that. All right, let's write about them.
True. Okay.
But then, like a small business, right?
Yeah, it's like the local.
How many people are gonna write about a small business?
The local, I don't know, pizzeria, like in your neighborhood, or a local restaurant. Yeah, probably.
So at a small business level, I think backlinks can have a pretty large impact if you get a good ones. It can really power through because most small businesses they'll have of course you get some content, but backlinks will be a big differentiator. At a larger size, all Fortune 500 is probably getting a bunch of backlinks all the time.
Yeah, and then probably small businesses are overlooking that too, or don't know about it, or don't know like to get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, sometimes that's one of the missing ingredients. But I guess the reverse to that is I spoke to actually a photo booth owner, and he tried to do his own SEO and knew backlinks are important, but he got the wrong type of backlinks, and he's actually taking himself backwards.
Man, how
I don't know if
did?
he went on Fiverr or if he went on whatever
Oh yeah, I
site.
hired someone to do it.
Yeah, so he's got a bunch of links built, and then there was someone who's outranking him who has less links than him, and
Yeah,
probably it's because his links were not that great. So it's not always it matters where you're getting the back. It's not just get more backlinks. It's get
yeah,
backlinks from good sites.
yeah. And also, like, you should audit your backlinks just
Mm-hmm.
just in case a competitor wants to go get you.
Yeah, yeah. But only and disavow only if there seems to be an issue potentially. Because if
Mm,
you because Google is getting pretty good at knowing, like if there's a bunch of spam stuff, sometimes they'll just disregard the links without you doing anything.
I
Because they
see.
also know that some people can just, all right, let me just spam
Yeah.
this person, and so Google will filter some of those out. So if your rankings are okay, then maybe it's fine. Um, but if there's an issue, then maybe you got to look into it and
Mm,
detoxify your
yeah.
backgrounds.
Yeah. Uh, question outside of backlinks.
Yeah.
Zooming out again. Do you handle um, or what your SEO strategy change uh, from a e-commerce website versus like a service-based business website?
Mm, I think so. Yeah, I think they're different. E-commerce has a lot of product pages and
Mhm.
categories and potentially thousands, if not tens of thousands of pages. And I mean, there are similar principles, but you know, for a local SEO service-based business, which their site has maybe 50 to 100 pages max, and they have an e-commerce site that has thousands, if not tens of thousands of pages, where maybe there's more issues with um, keyword cannibalization because maybe there's multiple variations of a specific product, different colors, different sizes. I think technical SEO might become even more and more important when it comes to an e-commerce site versus a service site where there's a lot less pages. So, yeah, backlinks are still important, content's still important, but maybe I think there might be some shifts because I think you work with the e-commerce client, right? It's like they're like
Yeah.
tons of pages, right?
Oh yeah. And I think it's just a Shopify issue, but I always get that URL, like a duplicated URL thing, where
Yeah.
where Shopify would add a slash at the end of the URL, and then it
Mm,
gets treated as a separate one. And then Google was like, "Hey, you got a bunch of duplicated meta tags and meta descriptions." I'm like, "Wow, they're the same page." And then I'll like,
canonicals.
canonical. Oh yeah, I would like make sure I set the canonical
Uh,
URL, but yeah, sometimes it still doesn't read that and register it, and it still is like, oh yeah, these are two different pages. I'm like, no, the canonical says it's. Can you just like trace back to what I set the canonical as?
yeah, yeah. No, it's it's definitely some differences in strategy. I mean, there's some overlap, with but yeah, there's just some things that are applicable to e-commerce that just do not apply to service-based business, and then vice versa.
Mhm.
Like for example, like how much will a Google My Business profile matter to an e-commerce business?
Right. Yeah.
Probably not much. So yeah, yeah, e-commerce, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but it sounds like it sounds like all, I guess, branches, if you want to call them, of SEO still applies. It's just some like ecom. There's more weight on like technical SEO versus like a service based website, and there's more weight on maybe on page SEO
Essentially, yeah.
or something else.
Yeah. Because then it's like different types of blogs too, like e-commerce. Possibly you could do like this product versus that product, or best this product of 2025, or top 10 list for this type of product. So it's like a different blogging strategy. So yeah, at a high level, maybe it's like content, technical, backlinks. And then from there, there's all these mini sub disciplines that will apply to this versus not. And then it's just like the buying journey is a little bit different. For an HVAC business, someone is like ready to buy right then and there. So you don't really need to do much with conversion. But then maybe if it's a more of a luxury item for a product, maybe certain things like how you're positioned and, the design might matter even more for the conversion versus like a home service based business. It's like, whatever, we don't expect them to have a nice website. We're just trying to find someone trustworthy, good price. Then it's all context based.
Yeah.
Which is why I can see the value of niching down. Just because like of all these nuances within a specific, vertical can be so different across verticals. But I will say we are more non-niche right now. So, even though I know like it's probably better potentially to be niched.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like you've earned your way to become not niche just because of like you've built your whole business around HVAC to begin with, and then now you're at a point where it's like you've done it so well, and you've done it enough where you see, okay, I could use the same framework for this other industry and it'll still work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there are certain frameworks that import over, which is nice. Yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. Keeps me interesting. Things keep on changing. So many different industries. I do want more of these reputation management SEO though. Those are fun.
Yeah, you gotta think outside the box with those. It sounds fun. I've never done something like that, but it does sound just like the whole Taylor Swift example. Like that sounds pretty fun. Like you gotta be creative. Be like, hey, Jet. What else can we do with Jet?
Mm-hmm.
A center to a Jets game. Perfect.
And they probably told her do something that'll make you go viral, at this game too.
Yeah, make sure you're easily spotted, and people, you're at a spot where people can take pictures of you easily. Don't wear a hat.
Yeah, no, engineered viral moments. I feel like the more that I've been in the marketing space, the more I realized how much is engineered.
It's I would assume at that level, it's you're working at such a scale. There's so much resource at too, where you can be like, hey, we want a moment like this captured at this angle, and then you literally engineer it.
Yeah,
because you can.
You can.
Crazy. That's scary though.
That's scary, yeah. Yeah, one thing what was it? When I was at the Naval Academy, there was a specific discipline. I'm trying to remember the name of it now, but basically, it's I forget. It was about shaping public perception. I forget the name of the discipline right off the top of my head, but that's basically what it is, right? You engineer a viral moment, you shift public sentiment in a certain way. Yep. It's conversion towards an idea or perspective at a large scale. And so similar principles. It's marketing in different form.
I've never really thought about SEO this way, like with this lens. But yeah, it makes me look at it different now. It's not like it makes me look at it from a I guess a higher point of view. It's interesting. Now you got my brain spinning.
Yeah, I mean, you could shape public's, because whatever is accessible as the information, obviously that can be biased, and so then people make decisions based off of the information that's readily available to them. Mm-hmm. That could be search results, but also that could be something like ChatGPT, like what source, what's presented to you, and then what's not presented to you. So whatever's presented to you, you're going to make decisions based off of that. And so the information that's not there, in a way that's shaping your decision. The narrative is this, but you're not thinking about that. So now you're acting, but you're only acting on what you said earlier, the availability, what's available to you. If the knowledge is not available to you, okay, then you're being shaped in a certain way because you can't take that into account.
Right. Even if it does exist, but you're not aware of it, then it doesn't matter. It's almost like your attention is in the vacuum that you're putting it in. And then whatever those research results, since we're talking about SEO, or more traditional in a traditional sense, like since once you Google something and you get that list, like that is your attention, that is your vacuum. Anything outside of that, it's out of your brain. Like you wouldn't take into consideration.
Yeah. Same thing with the news too, right? You know, even though people can choose what they want to decide on a specific issue, the thing is that the agenda is set. So these are the topics that what everyone's talking about. All right, well, what about the topics that are not on the agenda? Yeah. So you're in a way you're being guided. Okay, hey, these are the top. We got to talk about this week. We got to talk about that. All right.
Yeah.
Depending on whatever side you're on, like whether the agenda was set, you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna jot that down.
Yeah. But then again, it's kind of like hard, right? You know, can a news organization talk about every single topic, right? It's not. I mean, they only have 24 hours in a day. You can't give every single perspective, and so I can understand. You know, there's limited time to talk about everything, but just that's something I think about all the time. It's like influence, but it's invisible influence by the person setting the agenda.
Yeah,
and it could be intentional or unintentional. It's just a byproduct.
Right. And in our case, in our context, we are the people pulling the strings of how to get a site to rank higher and be in that vacuum, that first page vacuum.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, who knows, man? I didn't realize you're a puppet master, dude.
Well, we're bringing this into a higher purpose conversation. We came in talking about SEO strategies, and now we're talking about pulling the strings behind the scenes and controlling what people are doing and seeing.
Man, I don't even know if I want to post that. I'm probably going to take this video down. Man, we got so deep. Someone's gonna hop on my channel and be like, "Yo, what the?" I'm just trying to learn how to optimize the title, dude. What are you talking about, bro?
Clip this real quick. Have you ever felt out of control in your life? Well,
I remember it's psychological warfare. That's what it was.
Yeah.
About psychological warfare? What's going on?
If you're not thinking about SEO like this, you're losing.
Oh, man. That is good. Man, so I probably end the stream sometimes too. I feel like there's like the one person watching. They're like, "Yo, what's going on with these people?
What are these dudes talking about now?" I stopped taking notes after they mentioned what.
Oh man. But cool. Anyone, whoever's watching, thank you for making it to the end. Robbie, if that's you, appreciate you, brother. But cool. Probably do another one of these. Ask me anything at some point. If there's any big takeaways anyone had, feel free to let me know. If there's any topics we didn't cover that you'd like me to hit, let me know. And actually, I had a lot of fun doing this. So maybe we'll do more of this style versus ask me anything. Just raw takes. On stuff.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. This was fun. I've learned a lot. I was being selfish and asking for my own knowledge pool as well. But also be able to help others too. Since we're all live. We're live.
Yes, sir. Cool. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks SEO Breakthrough fam, and we will catch you in the next one.
All right,
Peace.
laters.